It's coming. The October 1st deadline is rapidly approaching. Now, that is when Obamacare exchanges are supposed to be up and running. Not so fast. States are running into all kinds of Obamacare obstacles. In the great state of Wisconsin, 2 of the 3 major health insurers say they will not participate in the marketplaces. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good to be with you, Greta.
Nice to have you. Any idea the status of the exchanges being set up in Wisconsin? I know that the state isn't doing it, but the federal. But have they kept you abreast of what's going on, and will Wisconsin be ready?
Well, there's communication, but it's ultimately left up to the federal government. This is one of the key reasons why I and other governors across the country decided to have defer to the federal government and not have state-run exchanges, because we believe the federal government wouldn't be ready, and ultimately trying to blame the states for something that's ultimately they're doing. And so it's unfortunate for this country on many levels, not just that the exchanges are behind, but that ultimately we can't find a way to push back this really bad law for the people of our states and our country.
What happens if the feds are like 90% ready? And by 90% ready, I mean they can't convince us that they really do have the security safeguards and they don't have the rules out in terms of privacy of information. They have navigators, but they're not going to check the backgrounds. I guess that isn't necessarily a ready requirement, but it might disturb a lot of Americans as to who might have access to information. But suppose on the 30th of September you learn that Wisconsin, it's only about 90% done or finished. What are you going to say to the people in Wisconsin?
Well, we're going to raise serious concerns, but there's problems on a couple levels. Certainly, there's the practical issue of what it means for people who may or may not want to be a part of the exchange. In our state, though, you look, just the American Actuary or the Society of Actuaries points out that there'll be, according to them, an 82% increase in individual premiums over the next couple of years under Obamacare, the federal exchanges. That's not an Affordable Care Act. That's anything but that. And at the same time, you see not only does that being higher cost for individuals, you see the uncertainty that's coming from small businesses, other employers in our state. It's a massive problem all the way around. I hope that they would see this just like they did with the employer mandate and push back on the overall mandate. But I think, unfortunately, the decision they made to push back the employer mandate was political and not policy driven. And I don't see them making that same change here.
Is there any interaction between the state level, between you and the federal government? Do you have contact with HHS and sort of at all, or are they on their own setting up these exchanges in your state?
It's really the driving force. You're going to see in the next couple of weeks, as things become further behind here and across the country, they're going to try and push and make the states be a partner in the blame. But the bottom line is this is a federal exchange, and even the states that have chosen to do their own exchange are really doing it under the confines of the federal law. And it's the federal government, the Obama administration, the Department of Health and Human Services that are the ones that are behind. What I worry about, just as an American, not just as a Wisconsinite, but as an American, is this is going to continue to have a negative impact on our nation's economy. As employers are uncertain about what the future holds, they're going to be uncertain to add future employees, to hire full-time employees. And that's the last thing we need. We already have a slow economic recovery. We need to get back on track. And I hope this administration will see the problems and push to delay it.
I have not seen yet the interest of premiums, how much they're going up. I heard you say the 82%, but I haven't heard what they're going to go up in Wisconsin next year. I don't know if your rates are out. I know that in Ohio the announcement's going up 41%. But I'm curious, with Humana and United Healthcare, 2 of the biggest insurers in Wisconsin, saying they will not participate. Do you have any idea what the premium increase will be? And maybe there's a decrease in Wisconsin. And what impact having those 2 big insurance companies saying, they're not going to play?
Well, we think the Society of Actuaries assessment early on at about 82%. It's pretty accurate where we think the market. They'll be making announcements in the coming days. But not for 1 year, right? Not for 1 year. That's not next year. No. The Society of Actuaries pointed that out between now and 2017. But we think it could be very well likely be close to that from what we're hearing. And those announcements will come out fairly soon. My hope is, again, as someone who's obviously concerned and would like to see us repeal Obamacare on a national level, certainly for the people who are depending on it, I hate to see those kind of increases out there, but that's exactly what many of us predicted.
And in terms of Humana and United Healthcare getting out, is that going to have a profound impact on those numbers, or can it be absorbed? Will there be enough competition with whoever does get involved? Oh,
I think that's a real concern out there, and it's one of those where in the end they look at the marketplace and realize this is not a competitive market they want to be a part of. They don't want to be a part of something that's driven by the federal government, and it's why we've said the better alternative is to let the market decide, not have the federal nor the state government involved in health care decisions that ultimately should be left up to the consumers.
Governor, as always, thank you, sir.
Good to be with you, Greta.